Hello, my name is Sharon Rogers and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine, and this is Friday Night Live. Except it's not. This is a pre-recorded video set to air on Friday, March 17th at 7:30 p.m. While this is premiering, I am hosting a Lucky Hand Bingo with my email subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed to my email list, you can find the link in the description of this video below. For those email subscribers who registered for this event, I sent them a Zoom link. I sent them project directions for the project I'm going to make tonight on this video, as well as a lucky hand. And so this is just a shorter game or a shorter version of bingo. Every person gets 3 cards, and the first to match their cards with the ones that are called win. In the first round of bingo, I'm going to be giving the winner a set of embellishments and also a surprise that I'm not revealing here and I'm not revealing on my Zoom. It will be a surprise in the mail. For the second round of bingo that follows the project that I'm making tonight, I'm giving a mystery box valued at over $200 worth of Stampin' Up! Product. So please subscribe to my email list if you'd like to get in on the next time I offer this. I do have more mystery boxes. Let's get to tonight's project. You can find the measurements and the directions for this project on my blog at stamperhood.com, but we'll be using a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded in half at 4 1/4. You'll need a piece of Designer Series paper, and this is from the By the Bay collection, and this measures 4 by 5 1/4. You'll need another piece of Night of Navy that measures 3 by 4 1/4, and another piece of Designer Series paper, it's just the flip side of that other one, that measures 2 3/4 by 4. For the inside, I have a sheet of basic white that is 3 3/3 by 5 inches, and a strip. This is a 1 inch by, I think, 5 1/4 inch, so it sticks out just a little bit on the inside. And then I have a scrap piece of basic white and some ribbon. Essentially what we'll be doing is building a card that looks like this with a greeting. So it's a very simple, straightforward layout. Cuts are very, very easy. But I'm going to show you how to step it up just a little bit. For this layer, we're going to emboss it. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I will need the number 1 plate, and I will need the number 4 plate. I'm also bringing in the new Basics 3D embossing folders. That is an online exclusive, and I'm going to use the one that looks like a crosshatch. I'm thinking that this may give my Designer Series paper a little bit more of a fabric look. And of course we need our machine. We'll go ahead and we're going to put, sorry for that loud bang, we're going to put our cardstock, our Designer Series paper in there and sandwich it between those 2 plates that I mentioned. Run the folded edge through first. And then you've got some more texture in here. It's kind of cool looking. Ooh, it's also cool looking on this side. Now I'm not sure which side I want to use. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, let's take a look at what I might like by just mocking it up a little bit. I could use the same pattern here too. But let's see. I think I think I am going to go this way. All right. And you can, I don't know if you can tell, you probably can. You can see some shine in this designer series paper. On one side, there is a shiny bit in places on the designer series paper, and the other side is matte. This is gorgeous designer series paper. Let's go ahead and adhere it to our card base. So that was one trick. Taking, and you can do it to cardstock, of course, but you could also just do it to designer series paper and adding an extra layer of texture. I'm going to go ahead and attach the layer of designer series paper to the other piece of cardstock. And that's going to get attached to the card base with dimensionals. We are zooming right along with this card. I think I'll go this way. All right, now with our scrap piece of basic white, I'm going to die cut using this, which is the Scalloped Contours dies. On an upcoming stamp camp, I'm using this border die. It creates a fun little border, but for right now, I'm going to use this small guy right here. And of course, I do need stamps and ink. I am unfortunately in need of a sympathy card, so I will be using the With Deepest Sympathy. This is from the Something Fancy collection. It does have its own dies, which I could use here. The ones I sent to people that were making this project, they received this one. I am going to pivot. I'm going to use the dies that come with this. Obviously, you can use whatever dies you have, but both of these sets are often used die sets of mine. We're going to bring back our number 1 plate, put down a number 2 plate. Oh, I need to stamp first. It's much easier to align things up after you've stamped than before when you're using the red rubber stamps. So let's go ahead and we're going to stamp this. And I stamped it upside down, and that's fine because I'm going to turn it around anyways. And you can just line this up here as you like. It's a little crooked, so I gotta fix that a little bit. Let's see, you could also do this one. This one's a little bit too ornate, a little too cheery for me for the sentiment, I think. That's why I decided to switch it up a little bit. All right, now that I've moved it and I need to align it again. All right, that's good. Place our top plate over it. Something's not right. It's going too easy. I see what's wrong. I forgot my number 2 plate. You need a 1, a 2, and 2 3s. So that's another tip I have for you. If it's going through too easy, as in you don't feel any resistance, or if it's going in too hard, meaning it's not going in, something's wrong with your sandwich. So address that sooner rather than later. All right, so this is going to go on here, but I wanted to put in some ribbon. So I have this piece of Night of Navy bordered ribbon. So it's kind of a clear, almost denim look in the center, and it's edged by some darker. It's a little bit too thick for me for this project, or you might even consider that perhaps it's not so thick, it's more that you want to save it. You don't want to use quite as much. This is also really good if you are using a very wide ribbon and you don't need a ribbon that's so wide. You're going to take your ribbon and you're going to simply cut it in half lengthwise. And it doesn't have to be a perfect cut because the middle of the ribbon will probably fray a bit anyways. Kind of gives a shabby chic look, I think. Oh, these scissors are so dull. I need to sharpen them after this. Oh, so dull. All right, so now I have a half a ribbon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just kind of weave this back and forth. And this may be a little bit longer than I need. I'm not sure. I used it with a different die. So yeah, that's gonna work, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and put some adhesive right across the middle there. And I wanna be careful. I wanna make sure it's not longer than my sentiment, which it's not, so that's good. I'm just going to fold this back and forth. And you can kind of change the angle a little bit, but there we go, something that looks like that. And we're gonna take our dimensionals again, and we're gonna put these right over the top. There we have our sympathy card. Now all we need to do, I probably need to move that over a little bit. It's fine. Now I'm not going to dress this up with some bling. It would look lovely with some bling, but I'm not going to because it is a sympathy card. I am going to trim my ends a little bit though. And there we have that card. You know what? I am moving it over. I got to. It's just not centered enough for me. And I suppose the term centered enough is not exactly a proper term, right? Because you're either centered or you're not. All right, let's see if this is a little bit better. I think so. There we go. And notice my ribbon is not perfectly symmetrical, which is what I'm going for. Can't be anyways because of the way it's angled, but it's, so this edge looks a little bit closer there, this loop, than this one up here does. But this edge balances it out by sticking out further, so it's just because it's on a different angle. So there's my sympathy card. Now all I will do is put a little adhesive on my basic white. And then put some adhesive on this little strip. And I usually cut the strip to the same length, but I decided to do a little something different, and I like it. I like that it sticks over a little bit. It gives a little bit more interest to the inside. And so there is our card. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list so that you will be kept in the loop regarding events such as the one I was holding during the time that this premiered, as well as other events and classes that I'll be holding. Have a great weekend, everyone.